just streaming now. Stream's coming. The stream is coming out. Because you're going to talk about a stream, I assume, in a second.
Actually, it's not stream related.
Really?
Yep.
That's interesting. I kind of assume it's either stream or trickle related if you're talking about pee.
Nope.
Possibly odor related.
Nope.
Sometimes there's the odor. All right. I think that's all stream.
If it was just some normal expected pee thing, it would not be something to discuss.
True, you're only going to bring it up if it's like a pretty good
In my
pee
35 years of life, it was a new experience of pee.
Ooh. This will be good.
Mm-hmm.
Good pee. Someday we still got to do that poop show.
Pretty sure we did a poop show.
No, we keep saying we're saving it because we said we're going to have Ro on as a guest. She was insistent, and we were like committed to this.
I remember talking about, way back, like 2006 probably, like we did a show, we talked about Poop Report and such. It was a poop show. Remember when Poop Report was a thing?
I remember when Poop Report was a thing. All right, come on, audition. Why are you having trouble?
How come you have all these computer troubles lately? How come you don't know how to computer? Why am I good at computer and you're not?
There we go.
Is that Marantz on?
Yes, the Marantz is already on. We're already streaming, and there's already someone watching.
Already the sad people have arrived.
Well, person. The listener is here. Oh, no, now there's 3.
Sad.
There's 3. All right, let's see. File. Edit. Preferences. Audio hardware. Okay, change it to ASIO, and let's see if it crashes. Does not appear to have crashed.
Asiago.
Channel 2. Oh, it's good. Yes. I can tell my anecdote about why that happened the other night and we couldn't stream. But I'll let you do your pee thing first. All right, everything's good. Let's just do this. It is. I'll mute that. It's Thursday, June 22nd, 2017. I'm Rim.
I'm Scott.
And this is Geek Nights. Tonight, we'll see how this goes. We're talking about predicaments.
This is on the dick.
All right, go nuts.
So, work today. I go to pee.
All
like you do.
Yeah, like you do.
And I go to the urinal.
I pee like 3 times a day at work.
Yeah, I pee a lot at work because I drink too much water.
In fact, the more I'm working, the more water I drink. Like if I'm working hard, I'm just like chugging water.
Anyway, so it's one of those urinals that has a tiny pool of water at the bottom. Not the kind with the disc or the waterless kind.
Like they do.
Right. And sometimes people don't flush fully, or the flusher is kind of like the flusher on this one, you have to sort of push it down really hard and hold it. If you just sort of bump it once, it goes like, psh, and it doesn't flush. So quite often when you go in, the water will be yellow, which is really not a big deal.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't really care. It happens to everyone. I'm super paranoid, though. Like, whenever I'm in a public bathroom of any kind, especially the work one, I always, get up before I leave the stall or walk away from the toilet. I look at it to make sure it's completely flushed.
Yep.
And then after I wash my hands, I almost had to double check. And occasionally, I'll leave the stall, wash my hands, and someone will be in the stall now, and I can't check. And I'm like, oh no, did that person just see my poop? Oh no. But anyway.
I'd be almost proud of it if they saw it. Be like, all right, you saw my mighty works.
I'm just
look ye mighty upon my works.
I'm just paranoid about being like,
and despair.
They know that I don't flush. Oh no. They think I don't flush, even though I'm super paranoid about flushing all the time. Anyway. So
I watched a dude not flush and not wash his hands and walk the fuck out, and he works on my floor. Not in my company though, some other company.
I was saying if it was within my
if you work in my company,
if I was a boss and someone did that, I'd talk to him once. I'd say, wash your goddamn hands. And then, if I saw him do it again, fired.
I would do something different.
Even if it's not a restaurant.
I would just send an email.
If it was a restaurant, fired immediately.
I would just send an email to team and be like, guess who doesn't fucking wash his hands?
That's part of it, yeah. Anyway. So I go, and the water's yellow, which is a big deal. I don't know whose water it was.
Just let it mellow. It's there.
I'll flush it, and then I'll pee, and then I'll flush it again.
Why flush and pee? Why not pee then flush? It's not going to get on you.
I'm going to tell you why.
All right.
Obviously, it's not likely to get on me,
but there is the chance. I can see that. I can see.
Well, even if it was just normal pee.
Wait, did it get on you?
No.
Okay.
I flushed, and then I peed, and then I flushed again.
I'm just wondering where the story's going.
The color of this pee. Now, I mean, I've seen green pea before because of, of eating various foods.
Yeah.
Right? And I've seen red pea because someone's got a problem, right? They can go to the hospital probably if you got red pea.
A friend of ours who was on chemo, like her pee was basically bright pink during all of that.
Yeah, I've seen.
SciShow just did an episode on what different colors of pee mean.
Yep, I've seen a blue pea even in my life, right?
I was on a weird antibiotic once, and my pee was like bright green to the point that I called the doctor and I was like, "Yo," and he was like, "Yeah, I should have warned you."
This pea was a color I had not seen in my 35 years of life.
What's the X code for it? Like, where are we going here?
So it was yellow, and you might be saying, well, yellow, but that's like the color pea's supposed to be, the least surprising pea color.
Yeah.
Right? No. It was yellow, like a fucking yellow highlighter. I thought somebody just dropped a highlighter in there. I was like, is that even pee? I thought maybe it was some kind of cleaning chemical.
Maybe he worked at the company we're going to talk about in the news.
I thought it like maybe wasn't pee, like it was a cleaning chemical or something, and I would just like flush this away. I'm like, well, if I flush it and it's still there, it's probably something they installed in the toilet, right, to put this chemical in there. But no, it went away. Someone's pee was highlighter fucking yellow. I'm like,
maybe they ate a highlighter.
I don't know what it wasn't. I don't know. I don't know how it was that way. It was in a urinal. It wasn't like someone dropped something in a sit down. What is up with that? Like what?
That's good.
Is that explained in your little video there? Highlighter yellow pee?
I haven't actually watched this yet. It's in my queue of videos to watch. It's a recent upload.
Well, watch it and maybe.
Okay, so look, I
don't know who it was.
So here, look, I can see they talk about orange, red, blood, bad news.
Bad. Yeah, it's bad news.
Green.
Yeah, we've talked about green.
Pink.
We talked about that.
Green again. Blue.
I told you we talked about blue.
Yep. Purple urine bag syndrome.
I've never heard of that in my life.
I don't know what that is.
As fuck.
This is a long article. Some sort of off-white.
I mean, I have clear pee a lot.
Black. Yeah. Oh God.
Squid ink. I don't know.
Black. I guess I just got. If I pee,
maybe your bile from your poop lines leaks into your.
If I pee and it's black, I literally just, without calling anyone or saying a word, I just go straight to a hospital.
I call 911 while I'm walking to the.
I just go straight to a hospital and be like, take a picture of it, go straight to the hospital and be like, deal with this.
I peed black. Not highlighter yellow, eh?
I didn't see a highlighter yellow in there anywhere.
Like, I should have taken a picture because it was
maybe that bright one there?
That looks more green.
Yeah.
Well, oh, maybe, though.
Could be close. It's the most
when you
neon
get
one.
Highlighter yellow, starts to become neon green eventually.
Yeah.
So you go along the spectrum there. But I don't know if chemicals work that way.
I'll watch this video tonight because it's literally in my queue of YouTube videos to watch.
Yeah.
Because I don't watch these immediately.
Right.
I let all my subscriptions queue up.
That was the most surprising thing that happened today was seeing highlighter yellow pee in the office toilet.
So you might have noticed that the other night, 2 nights ago, we did the show, and I stream most of Geek Nights, and I didn't stream that episode. I tweeted.
We didn't stream most episodes.
We started streaming almost every episode because it's real easy to do.
Who cares?
The reason I didn't stream is that we were trying to start the show, and every time I launched Audition, OBS would crash or hang, and every time I launched OBS, Audition would hang.
Just use XSplit or whatever.
XSplit would also have hung. So
interesting.
I knew that. So here's the deal. I figured out exactly what was going on, and it's because OBS was doing something I didn't expect. So if you have for real audio hardware, like you're muxing a giant audio interface, you won't use MME, the Windows multimedia whatever. MME is a thing that Windows does that, for the love of God, why can't Linux just do this? Where if you have 10 sound cards, which you might not think you have a lot of sound cards, but in the modern era, you actually have a lot of sound cards and don't realize it. Every monitor that takes HDMI is a sound card, technically.
Yep.
Every headphone that you plug in with USB, that's a sound card. Your motherboard probably has a sound card you didn't even know about. If there's an audio jack in there might be 2. MME just makes all those work, all at the same time. But you can't record from all of them at the same time. And there's all these reasons.
Choose one.
You pick the one that you're recording
In fact,
on.
you can only play to one at the same time.
Yeah, unless you install some bullshit software, and that software
Windows by default only plays to one and records to one, and all the other ones are just off.
And if you install weird
you can
software,
record from one and play on a different one.
Yeah.
You just can't have 2 of them recording at the same time or 2 of them playing at the same time.
You might be able to have 2 different pieces of software that don't interact working with 2 different sound cards. That could happen.
Oh, you can do that. Yeah, you can have one piece. You can have iTunes play sound on one and YouTube play sound on another.
Yep. Or my rig, right? My streaming thing or my headset. I have Overwatch audio will come in one interface to it, but the voice chat comes into another one. Like you can do stuff like that.
Yeah, you just can't like play a song in iTunes and have it play out of like 5 different speakers.
But if you have pro audio equipment, I can totally do that.
Sure.
Like I can route audio all over the fuck place. That's
well, especially if the hardware outside of your computer can do it too, right? So if
Yeah.
you send the audio out of your computer into another device, that device can plug in a million whatevers.
That's
it's
like,
not
you know,
running Windows.
Remember in the old days we used to get guests on Geek Nights? I did not have the like kind of mixer that I have today back then. The way we did that is by having all these different sound cards. Like
and
Skype
multiple computers.
Skype was using one sound card on one computer, and like Skype 2 was using a different sound card on another computer. And I like analog mixed all that shit together. Anyway, if you have for real audio hardware, you won't use MME, you use something called ASIO.
Yep.
If you want to fuck shit up, you use WAS API, which is like bootleg ghetto Windows shit. ASIO. Don't use it. Remember that time when I needed help in MATLAB to fix an episode of Geek Nights? That was because of Wasappy. Don't use Wasappy ever. But anyway, ASIO lets you do magic, but it has one very specific limitation. Only one piece of software can, in a sense, subscribe to any given specific channel of audio. So Audition right now is recording the raw output from channel 1 of the mixer, which is me, and the raw output of channel 2 of the mixer, which is Scott. And that is independent of the faders. If I move the faders around, that'll mess with the stream, but it won't actually mess with what's recorded. The recording is raw because I don't want nothing I do live should affect the raw recording because I do everything in post. Kind of like how if Scott's recording video, he doesn't want to like do digital zooms or effects in camera. He's going to do that shit in post. Don't ruin your actual like source material. So, I set up an Advance Wars stream, and I happened to set it up to record a raw channel. The OBS stream I do Geek Nights on is actually recording the main mix that is affected by the faders because it's going through the compressor, so I have a live effect, so that is also compressed. Otherwise, it'd be like the audio would be all over the place. It'd be hard for you to listen to in the streaming. That's why it sounds good. OBS, apparently, if you define any audio source, even if it's not being used, and XSplit, I checked, seems to do the same thing. So don't say like, oh, XSplit would fix this. No. Even though I was not using that that setup, I wasn't recording or anything, because it was configured, OBS subscribes to every single audio source it knows about. So it subscribed to a source that was also in my Audition thing, so they would both hang each other. Why do they hang each other? Because ASIO drivers are super finicky because they're only used in like super pro setups.
Yeah, wouldn't you write in the code of OBS or in the code of Audition, like if cannot subscribe, fail gracefully, put up a message about not being able to subscribe, don't crash?
You'd think that. You would really think that. Now, Audition will, depending on how it fails, because the problem is it can actually fail in a bunch of different ways, and the real problem is that the ASIO drivers are highly hardware specific. So I have specific drivers for this exact hardware, and I also have specific drivers for my exact FireWire, and that shit's all old and isn't being updated that much, thus it just sort of hangs. The moral is, bugs, no matter how weird and obscure or difficult to troubleshoot, can always be troubleshooted by using basic troubleshooting techniques. I looked at what was different between the last time I streamed and that time, and the only thing that was different was I made an Advance Wars stream. So that was how I was able to troubleshoot that, and now we're streaming the show again.
Whatever. No one cares.
That is also why Scott is occasionally silent in the very beginning of the show, because I usually have him muted in the main mix, because I'm not using that microphone all the time. So anyway, you got some news?
What was my news? All right. So, we talked about Star Wars a bunch because there's a lot more Star Wars now than there's ever been. Every year we're going to get some Star Wars.
It's a Star Wars bonanza.
Every single year there's going to be a Star Wars. And one of the upcoming years, I think maybe next year, right? Because this year's going to be episode 8. 8? Yes.
Yeah, it's 8.
8.
It's weird that when until before the new Star Wars came, I could immediately say exactly which number, but now I got to count up because there's so many, and it's weird.
Next year is going to be Han Solo.
Which, because of how good Rogue One was, I was really looking forward to the Han Solo movie.
I mean, I'm like,
young Lando Calrissian, just sign me the fuck up.
Right. I mean, I wasn't like super looking forward to it. It wasn't like on my hype list, but like I was definitely gonna go right to the theater and see it.
Yep.
See me some Han Solo.
I'm pretty much going to all these Star Wars movies.
Give me full on Wookiee action, right? So it was definitely something I was gonna go do, a nerdy thing that was gonna happen at some point. But apparently, it's got some drama.
Some pretty surprising drama, actually.
Right, I didn't see this coming. They were just rolling right along, Disney, with all these other, Star Wars movies, just putting them out. None of them have been bad since the prequel movies, right? So just rolling along. It seemed like everything was going great. They got tons of money and they're profiting and whatever.
You didn't see a lot of like Hollywood drama coming out of the productions.
Right, now suddenly we get this news that over creative differences, who knows what creative differences there could be at a Han Solo movie?
Between two directors.
You make a badass Han Solo who goes around space Han Soloing.
You make an even more badass Lando Calrissian who's just there fucking shit up.
Making you wish it was a Lando Calrissian movie.
I feel like, you know what they need? They need a Netflix show.
Make sure Chewbacca gets most of the screen time.
I want them to make a show, like 13 episodes that's just Lando.
Sure. Just call it Lando.
That's exactly. You call it Lando.
Works every time. But the directors had some directors. There were two of them, right?
Phil Lord and Chris Miller,
I guess,
were let go from the movie.
How could you have creative differences over a Han Solo movie? And then they bring in
what? Maybe what if the only thing I can think of is one of them is Han shot and is a stone cold fucking killer, and the other one is like Lucas style Han Solo reboot.
No, I get the feeling it was differences between. I feel like the two of them agreed, but the two of them disagreed with Disney somehow.
Well, I have the exact quote here. I found a more recent article.
Oh, good.
The move comes 2 days. So the move is they hired a third new director, Ron Howard,
which is a famous person that I know the name of this famous person. I know they're a famous Hollywood person. Not until we did research before the show could I have told you anything about him.
I knew he was a director,
famous Hollywood person.
But I'm curious how many of you know him as fucking Opie from the Andy Griffith Show.
Probably everyone. We just don't know about Hollywood shit.
But as an aside, the Andy Griffith Show is super legit, and if you've never seen it and don't know what I'm talking about, it's a really good show.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's a really good sitcom, and he played the kid. But anyway, so he has been tapped to take over the direction, which is good because he's a well-known good director.
Sure, fine.
After directors Phil Lord and Chris Miller were let go from the movie, so they didn't quit; they were fucking fired. They had spent 4.5 months directing.
They already filmed a whole bunch of shit too, right?
Creative differences over style and tone came to a head between them and a separate person, Lawrence Kasdan. I have no idea who that is.
Disney executive person.
Who has the studio backing and screenwriter or something. So, yeah, there's a whole bunch of follow-up drama that I don't know about.
I mean, the thing that you would guess would just be that one of the parties wanted sort of like a light adventure fun time, and the other person wanted a more serious badass kind of time.
I could see that.
So we're like a 60s Batman versus a 80s 90s Batman.
You know what the problem is? Either one of those would be fine.
Yeah, I don't give a shit either one of those. So
put both in the same movie for all I care.
It should be both in the same
movie. Have a roller coaster tone, like it's silly and campy, but then Han just fucking murders a guy.
That's how the original Star Wars was. It's it's campy, but he also just fucking murders a guy.
Yeah,
it's both at the same time, and that's what it should be. So if they're having that fight, which is just a guess, who knows what the fight was, right? If that's the fight they're having, they're both wrong.
Yeah.
But I don't care who wins. It's gonna.
Here we go. Howard is considered a safe choice to complete the task.
Sure. Yeah.
Someone who will ably finish the movie while being a calming presence on set.
Yeah, probably.
So basically, the kids had a fight, so they hired a famous adult to come in and be like, all right, we're going to go by the book. So my worry is, I feel like the movie will be competent now, but won't push any envelopes that it might have pushed with a more maverick team.
I think it'll also be weird in that so much of the movie's already been made. How much can they get it to, not be awkward, like having a scene that was shot with one mood trying to make a different mood. But then again, we have things like Shining, the feel-good movie trailer. So the power of editing is vast.
Also,
I'm sure they can do it.
They got Disney movie. They can just reshoot. And Ron Howard has enough gravitas to be like, nope, you're doing it this way. We're throwing out everything you filmed and starting over. He can totally do whatever he wants,
They'll make the money back, I'm sure.
Yep.
They could just put someone who looks like Han Solo on screen and have a little, plastic Millennium
Here's
Falcon
what it would
toy,
take.
move back and forth, and then someone makes some Chewbacca noises.
Here are the only things.
I would pay $10 to see it.
I'm still going to go see it day one. The only things that would cause me
Maybe
to
not day one, but day early.
I'll go see it like week one.
One of the earliest days.
Week one. Yeah, because day one, I'm not doing midnight showings anymore.
No, definitely one of the earliest
I'll
days.
do like the Friday after work, like the week it comes out.
Yeah, if it depends if it's a Christmas one or a different part of the
May
year.
25th, I think.
Oh, yeah, I'll just go see it like the week of.
Yeah. But I will not go see it right away if Ron Howard also quits. Because that means shit went down.
I guess that's just the biggest nerd news there is.
Or
right
if
now.
Lando isn't in it.
So we had to say something about it.
If Lando or Chewbacca aren't in it,
they
I would
are in
also.
it. They're in it. It's confirmed.
Yeah. So unless Ron Howard gets fired, I feel like we're still going to go see this.
Why wouldn't we? We'd go see it even if everyone was fired and they started over.
Yeah. So there's a news here, and I didn't see this picture until someone sent it to me in a chat where we talk about all the scary politics that would scare a lot of you if we talked about it on Twitter. So anyway, I'm looking at the picture right now. So if you're watching the live stream, you can see it. This picture is actually like super, super fucking terrifying if you know what it's a picture of.
Mm-hmm.
Because it is a picture of 4 cylinders of plutonium.
Plutonium just looks like metal, by the way.
Plutonium is a metal unless you, like, there are salts of it, there are chemicals of
And
it.
it's radioactive, so it goes away slowly, but not that fast. It's not like it just disappears while you're looking at it.
But not to get too deep into what the scary thing about this picture is, but if you really want to know, because I know nuclear weapons and nuclear stuff is kind of a slightly more scary thing today than it might have been, say, before the election last year. Not a big scary thing, but like one step scarier.
It always scares people more than it should because of history and also science fiction books and movies and Godzilla.
If you want to know why this is scary, Google for the Wikipedia article or the Wikipedia page about something called the Demon Core, because basically there's a concept of criticality. If you have a nuclear material like plutonium or enriched uranium,
and you have too much of it in a small enough space.
Yep, it's radioactive, but it's not going to nuke. It's just radioactive. Like, it's not great to hang out around it.
No.
But it's just radioactive.
Right.
If you put too much of it...
A banana's radioactive. It's like sitting in a banana warehouse.
Yeah. Well, the Yiga clan?
Yes.
Maybe that's why they're all weird.
Yes.
But if you put too much of this material in the wrong shape, too close to itself, there is a critical mass of the components, like of this element.
And fission occurs.
Yeah, such that fission occurs. And fission occurs in less than a second, less than a millisecond. So you'll have a material that is not great to hang around, but totally okay. Like, you can stand there and be fine.
You can wear like a lead armor or have a shield between you and it or whatever.
But the terrifying thing is that these are sitting here and they're cylinders. If someone bumped this table and this one in the middle rolled a little bit to the left and touched this other one, you would get what is called a criticality excursion. That means that in a flash, in a fraction of a second,
everyone standing there would be dead.
Every single person in that room is already dead. They will actually die in a week or two, but there is no way to save
radiation
them.
Poisoning.
Yes, they are dead.
Even if they're wearing all sorts of nice anti-radioactive armors and shields, it's too much radiation. They're dead.
Whoever took this picture is very lucky to be alive and should never be anywhere near nuclear material again, ever. And
why not take a picture of just one plutonium? Why do you have to take a picture of 4 plutoniums?
Yeah.
Why not just one? The picture of one isn't good enough for you?
Did you not know? Like, did you just not, like, how?
And you're a photographer. You don't know anything about... You're excused from knowing anything about radiation, right? But you're in a place where they're keeping plutoniums, where the most expert people are. Shouldn't they not give you more than
so
one?
Scott, the Demon Core, the reason I'm talking about that is because a lot of the times this happened, probably the most famous, there's one core that killed a bunch of people. We eventually used it in a nuke. I think they used it, but anyway.
One of the testing ones in an island somewhere?
So not on an island, on land. But the way this killed some people was that they had the 2 halves of it. They were like holding them together, and they were holding them apart with a flathead screwdriver that they were just holding in the middle to keep them from touching.
But
so
it's
they're
still
like
too close.
It's like a Pac-Man, But it's fine. That's how the tolerance are. It's like a Pac-Man, but they have a screwdriver just holding the two apart while they're fucking with it.
And someone slips.
Someone slipped, and the screwdriver fell out, dead. That was the end.
Yep.
Those people knew more about nuclear material than most people on Earth do today then. These were the experts of the world, and they were fucking holding them with a screwdriver.
Why not make some sort of, like, mold that you put them in so that they're like a little wall, but, you know.
Yeah, so, Scott, so the way people actually work with this stuff, they do have controls like that. Someone just went and got all this shit and put it out on a table and said, hey, look. And the story is, all these safety lapses, Los Alamos appears to be a shit show of nuclear safety today.
Yeah, you think that's like the #1 place. Shouldn't it be
It probably
least,
is the #1 place.
Shouldn't it be the least shit show?
Nuclear weapons are terrifying, and the reality is that the U.S. actually critically underfunds and trains the people who do this stuff. And we're not news, we're just commentary. You can read these. If you're scared of this stuff, don't read these articles. If you're interested in it, read these articles. But mostly I just want an excuse to talk about this picture because
Brim just loves talking about anything nuclear-related.
Holy shit, though, this picture. Like, I cannot get over this.
Well, they're not screwdriver close. They're like 3 screwdrivers apart, so.
Nobody died. Nobody sneezed and bumped the table, I guess. And I guess the only other news we'll talk about before we get into the predicament is that we try not to talk about politics too deeply on the show.
Are you talking about politics now?
So the Republican Party in the U.S. actually released the text of their health care bill, and it is a monstrous, like, literal murder bill. Like, it would literally ruin health care in America. So I'm not going to get into it. All I'm going to say is that if you live in America and you live in a state that has even one Republican senator, call them and swear at. Like, call them and scream at them. Like, call them and scare them. I live in a state where there's no one I can call. There's nothing I can do about this.
My representatives are the best representatives. Like, there's no one, like, you couldn't, if, like,
Dude,
if someone
my
came up,
senators said that both my senators said that they will try to grind the Senate to a halt to stop this.
I don't even have the kind of Democrats representing me that are, like, the centrist kind. Like, they're all the lefty kind that, like, I'm like, oh, I'll run for, no, because I don't want to replace this person.
I called my
and
state
I also don't want to move.
I called my state senator about single payer, and they were like, dude, I fucking signed it. I'm a sponsor.
My guy is like, whenever there's a news, like, so-and-so New York pushing for whatever, it's always my guy.
Yep.
I'm like, well, I guess he's doing all the
I'm only bringing this up because
he's better at it than me.
There's a lot of you out there. Like, we have a decent number of fans. If you just happen to live in a state that has a Republican senator.
Move.
Well, yeah, move. But before you move, call them, call them once a day and swear at them. Like, I'm not even joking. You've got to make them scared that people in their state might actually do something. That's all.
They don't give a shit.
They might, because the only thing they actually give a shit about.
Rich people call them.
No, they're scared. Or if the people who actually vote get actually somehow angry, which rarely happens.
Gotta get mad.
Gotta get mad. You've got to get mad.
No one's getting mad. Bread and circus.
I'm mad, but but I live in a state that's already doing literally almost everything I want them to do. Like, we don't have single payer yet, but like New York's doing is pretty well. Moved to New York, guys. All right, what's going on in this chat? Everyone likes the way you're dressed today.
Okay.
You're dressed for the GeekNights lounge.
Sure.
Of course he doesn't have shoes on. Why would you wear shoes in your house? Of course I don't have shoes on either. Who wears shoes in their house? I guess if you live in the Midwest. They think that you need a non-alcoholic, like, juice beverage that has a little umbrella in it. That would complete the image.
Okay.
All right, let's just do the predicament and all that shit.
I don't need any more sugar right now.
Yeah. I could use some sugar. I'm a little,
You know what's real good? They're a lot of money. They're like $6, $7.
Yeah, we're recording.
If you go to the grocery store in the freezer section, they got these, it's like a frozen, it looks like an ice cream bar on a stick.
Yeah?
But it's actually Greek yogurt ice cream kind of stuff, like frozen Greek yogurt.
You've brought that up before.
They're called Yasso. The brand is Yasso. They got all these flavors. I had the cookie dough one. I also had, what was the other flavor we had? Mango something. The point is, they're all good flavors. They're just expensive.
All right, let's get the things.
And I guess it's less danger. It's less bad for you than ice cream.
Fuck it, I just eat ice cream. I just don't care anymore.
I also just eat
I have so much ice cream.
I also just eat ice cream, but this is like also delicious. So and it doesn't taste exactly the same as ice cream. So why
True.
you got to mix it up.
Like sometimes you get a gelato instead of an ice cream.
Right,
What?
Oh. It just looks like bars of metal that are too close.
If they touch each other, death. Instant death.
Mm-hmm.
Kenshiro death. All right. But anyway, things of the day. What do you got? The knife. You got the knife.
Right. So a long time ago, I did a thing of the day where this guy goes to like the dollar store and buys like the most garbage, like $1 kitchen knife, right? But he's an expert at knife sharpening, which means he actually knows how to use a whetstone, which, I also sort of know the theory, but I don't have the practice.
I'm not good. I'm not even that good at honing.
I've never actually done it, right? But
I try to hone stuff, and I'm not like I do it
I feel like
okay.
I should buy like $3. If I really wanted to get into it, I should buy like 3 $1 knives and the stones. But it's like I already do enough shit. What I just paying someone to sharpen knives, they charge like a few dollars. It's not worth it to do it yourself unless you're way into it or you do it a lot. Anyway, so that guy sharpened that $1 knife to where it was crazy sharp. He was cutting paper and stuff. It was awesome, right? He's back at it again.
Back at it again at the Krispy Kreme.
He was in some kind of, he tells the story in the video, but he was at some kind of store, and some poor guy comes in trying to sell this old rusty knife to the store, and the store was like, no, we're not even going to give you like 30 cents for that. I guess it was in yen, so convert whatever. But then he goes to the guy and is like, oh, I'll buy that from you. And the guy's like, oh, really? $3.
Yeah.
And he's like, fine. He paid $3, right? But this knife, while it starts out all rusty, is actually a hella nice fucking knife, and he sharpens and shines that shit like, oh, baby, this is so good.
God.
I just love seeing people restore a busted thing to being an awesome thing again.
It's just
if only we could do that with, like, busted old
the subway?
train. Yeah. Right? We should get this guy working on the subway.
Yeah.
He'll take his whetstone onto the rails and clean them up.
So I got 2 things today, but they're deeply related. So, in like old cartoons when Wile E. Coyote has like some dynamite that he's going to blow up, he has a big box with a T stick on it and you push the T down.
A little plunger.
Yep. So this is, Big Clive is a YouTube channel I follow, and usually he takes dodgy Chinese electronics and takes it apart and explains exactly how it'll kill you. But in this case, he explains in extreme detail how those old dynamite exploders work. Because back then, batteries did not have enough power, if they even existed in a lot of places, or enough reliability to be used for this. And there wasn't like power, like you couldn't plug in anything. This is like Wild West times. So he explains in extreme detail how those old dynamite blasters worked. And then, in case you're wondering how they do it today, it's not that different. And there's another video he has that shows a modern Abra dynamite exploder. And apparently in the industry, I didn't know a lot about these things. They're just called dynamite exploders.
But modern ones don't have plungers.
Nope, they have cranks.
And buttons.
And they do not take power, and they do not have batteries, and they work almost the same way, just with more safety.
I guess dynamite does not require power to explode.
It requires very little, the blasting caps. But essentially, this video is fascinating. The first one is okay, because you learn how this old technology works. But this dynamite exploder is cool because it seems very retro and like very minimalist and simple and almost weirdly archaic. And yet this is how it's done today because these old systems and these old methods are hyper reliable. They have no requirements. They don't need batteries. They don't need power. They need nothing. You need dynamite. If you got dynamite,
you need the wires to connect to the dynamite.
And you got some wires, and you got a dynamite exploder, and you got blasting caps, you can make dynamite explode.
You need things.
How this thing works is fascinating. How durable this thing is ridiculous. And I had to look up what a thyristor was.
Well, it has to be able to, not get destroyed with the dynamite.
It also has to work in a mine, and mines are not the most comfortable places.
Yeah, if a big rock falls on it, it still needs to work. And also not accidentally blow up all the dynamite if a rock falls on it.
And also you'll learn what a thyristor is, which I literally had to look up because I did not know. In the meta moment, the book of the book is Frank Herbert's Dune.
I read a whole bunch. I finished we're reading Dune book 1, which actually has each chapter isn't that long, but there's like 3 sort of parts. So it's like book 1, book 2, and book 3 are all in that first volume. So I finished the first one. I'm doing the second one now.
I'm going to read the whole thing because I'm going to London next week, so I'm pretty much going to read the whole thing on my trip.
It's that board game is so accurate to
Yeah.
this book. It's ridiculous. I didn't realize how accurate that board game was. They literally turned the book directly into that board game.
It's kind of amazing that you can have an IP in a game that so closely matches the source material in both theme and substance.
It's great. And like the final thing that is in the game that wasn't in the book yet just happened. There was a nexus in the book just now.
No. Also, this weekend, Emily will be there. A bunch of our friends will be there. A bunch of our friends are speaking there.
I might go there.
Joe Fu, you might the visual novels and like the people I work with outside all this
been on this
stuff.
show before.
Yeah, Joe Fu is going to be giving a talk. So is Kat Small, who is fucking amazing.
She's running the thing.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
And Game Devs of Color Expo is Saturday in New York City in Harlem. It's totally cheap.
It's $20.
It's $20
for a day of gaming talks.
Like serious gaming talks.
Where are you gonna get a bargain like that ever?
And if you're poor, like you can't afford $20, they'll help you out too. Like seriously, go to their website and check them out.
I'm pretty sure anyone who can listen to a podcast has $20.
Yeah, but if you don't for whatever reason, they pointedly will help you get into this thing. And this is going to be pretty cool. Also, it's coming up in a few weeks. Kineticon 15 is July 7th through 9th. The website says 6th through 9th, but on the 6th, all you can do is pick up your badges.
We still run the panels department there, I guess.
I scheduled a crazy ton of panels. Scott's in charge of like all our like day of logistics and operations in the panels department.
We don't have a lot of staff this year, so I'm just scheduling everyone for the whole con.
Yep.
I'm gonna let everyone punch in at the beginning and punch out at the end to ease difficulty or worrying about shifts. And then people just take breaks whenever.
But seriously, like, don't fly to Connecticut to go to Kineticon. But if you live within like couple-hour drive.
If you can drive to Kineticon or take some other kind of transportation to Hartford easily, it is worth going to. I don't know if it's worth paying for. It depends, but it's definitely worth going to if you're a nerd who cares about anime or gaming or any other kind of gaming.
Dude, its tabletop area is better than most tabletop cons, like straight up. And it's that department's run by people kind of like how we run panels. Same deal. Like
even if you just want to have like one, it's really good if you just want like one day of nerdery, right? Just go. And, check out the guest list. Maybe there's someone you're way into. Because basically, where other cons will have like a few top-tier peoples, Kineticon tends to get a ton of mid-tier peoples, right? Like people who are on TV and people who write books, like people you care about, but like you might not know that you care about them until you look at the list of guests and you're like, whoa, I actually sort of want to, oh man, wouldn't it be cool to see all these people? And then it is.
So we'll be doing some shows too. We're doing like 4 panels, and I guess I'm hosting the opening ceremony. We'll find out how that all goes. But
I did not volunteer for that. I was like, let's have Uncle Yod do it.
And otherwise, subscribe to our stuff, YouTube and all that. And I think it's time for the predicament because I didn't have a good idea for a show. I got the Demon Core up. Let me move that out of the way.
Why did you not want Carl to do it? That was weird.
I think they did too. I think he might also do half of it. I'm not sure. I haven't really looked into that so much. So I asked our patrons because we talked, I think we streamed it, but we didn't record it in the show, about this like predicament that I guess people on Reddit were talking about.
Okay.
And the idea was like, so you're in outer Brooklyn.
No, you live in Brooklyn.
Yep.
You're in Manhattan like at work or something, or out on the street, and you poop your pants. What do you do? And people are, it's like, the answer was pretty much, well, you pooped your pants. It's not going to be good, right, no matter what happens.
But what do you do?
What you do is you go buy new pants. You go find a Starbucks bathroom, whatever. You throw your pants.
Well, so
out,
I have a very specific.
You go commando, whatever.
We'll start with that one because this is very similar to the like, how many 5-year-olds could you fight off kind of question. But the difference is these are more. At least this was more like a very specific practical thing. So I thought very specifically what I would do just in case. It could happen. What I would first do is go to the nearest Starbucks and assess the damage in that bathroom. I just get right in that bathroom. I would sacrifice my underwear because I'm assuming they're a lost cause. And I would clean myself up as best I could. I would actually wash the inside of the pants in the sink as best I could. And then I would go out to the nearest clothing store of any kind, buy pants, buy underwear, because you can buy underwear in like every drugstore. Go back to a different Starbucks, because by then people might remember I was the guy who left a poop smell in the sink. Wash myself again, change everything, throw the old pants away, and then I would take the subway home.
Just go home and then,
and never speak of it again.
And then you can reset your life.
I did have a situation in Australia where I didn't poop my pants, but I almost did. Because I ate some Mexican food in Manly, and that Mexican food fucked me up real bad. And I was on a long hike in the woods. So I pooped. I cleaned up with the boxers. I buried them, and I never spoke of it again. And that is what I did at Manly. So if you ever dig a hole somewhere in the woods in Manly, you might find my poopy boxers.
One time I was biking down in like
by the Abobo Bridge?
Yes, I mean it was down there, right? I was in the woods, and I had to poop real bad. So I went into the woods a bit and I squatted and I pooped. And just after
you gotta hope for the clean delivery.
Just after I finished pooping, and I started to walk away, some people were approaching, and I ran. But I'm pretty sure they saw that poop.
I just imagine
because it was like a pile. It was.
But this is not the poop show.
It looked like the poop emoji.
So 11 patrons gave us predicaments. I skimmed them, but I did not read them in detail. We'll blow through as many of these as we feel like, and we'll kind of see how this goes.
Yeah.
I don't know how realistic these are. I only read one just to kind of make sure they were plausible. There was a pretty good one about a riot at a hockey game.
You didn't screen this content?
Fuck, if they're bad, we'll read them out loud and shame the person.
Well, you can edit the show to remove the...
I'm not editing that. So the first one, I'll just go in order, is unattributed. I'll just read it. The both of you are trying to find a place to eat at PAX.
Okay.
Not determine the location. You split off from your normal party and you go down a street with a very distinct fog, all right?
Okay.
As you emerge on the other side of the fog, you hear a faint foghorn, and you look around only to notice that all the traffic is no longer on the road. Your cell phone's GPS doesn't find our location, and every building is boarded. Okay, so obviously we're in Silent Hill now.
Okay.
Looking back the way you came, you see a cliff face with signs that state not to climb down. So I guess there's a cliff there. Ahead of you is more fog, but you can vaguely catch the outline of a person-like object. Well, to your sides, you see two alleyways. You're unable to determine where they ultimately end. How do you get out of this situation?
I mean, if I'm trapped in some haunted fantasy world, it's going to be pretty dangerous. I'm probably going to die anyway.
Well, no, there's already...
But I don't believe in that bullshit, so I'll just go to the person and be like, yo, where are we at?
No, so you back up. There's a very small list of potential situations.
I could also be hallucinating, which is even more likely. So I should just sit down and take a nap.
In order, I think, here's the most likely scenarios. So number one, I am dreaming.
Also good, yeah.
So my first goal is to figure out if I am dreaming or not.
Jump down the cliff?
No, don't jump down the cliff, because what if you're not dreaming?
Pinch yourself?
So because I like to lucid dream, I actually have a very specific process in my life. If I ever end up in a situation that seems strange, I look at my hands, and that's a trigger, and then I just think, can I trace back all the steps that led me to where I am now? Because if I can't, it's almost definitely a dream. Because dreams, you're like in your grandma's house, but there's a weird door, and now you're in New York, and then you're flying. Like, it doesn't make sense. Yep. But in real life, stuff makes sense. If I can't determine that I'm dreaming, like if it all makes sense, number two, I am hallucinating. In which case, try to do as little as possible because I don't know what my meat body is doing out in the non-hallucinating world.
Yeah,
sit down.
Get it to wear off.
Sit down and wait. If Scott's next to me, I ask him if he's seeing the same shit as I am. Because maybe
you said you're all alone now. You got separated.
Oh yeah. If we get completely separated, yeah. But if like Scott and I are together, I'm like, Scott, am I hallucinating? Are you hallucinating? Did someone spike our water at the panel and we're both on LSD? Scenario number three, next most likely, this is a crazy elaborate prank, like Japanese game show style. And fourth most likely, magic is real and this is magic nonsense. So all I try to do is eliminate options 1, 2, and 3 as quickly as possible because if magic's on the table, then all bets are off.
Start casting spells.
Yep. That is Scott Johnson's go-to. If you ever find a legit vampire or a real ghost, you immediately read like every magic spell you've ever heard of in your entire life out loud.
Go to the Borders and get yourself a Necronomicon. Stat.
Yep. You just start wearing amulets. You start looking for more vampires.
Buy some garlics.
All you got to find is one, and it's game on. So yeah, that's it. After that, it's all just choose your own adventure.
Yeah, that was lame. Next.
It was okay.
Next.
All right, let's see. How do I get to the next
This
one?
was not my idea. But we don't have any other ideas for Thursday, so we have no choice but to
All right.
fall on this backup plan.
So a Canadian appropriate to this one. This is the hockey one that I skimmed.
A Canadian, like a habitant?
Canadian.
A Canadian person.
A Canadian person, not a Canadian.
A person from Canada.
Yep. Game 7 of the NHL Eastern Finals. Rangers versus at New Jersey.
Okay.
Triple overtime victory for the Rangers on a clearly blown call by the refs that does not get overturned.
Oh, we'll take it. I'll take what we can get, but I'll admit this bullshit.
A riot ensues throughout the arena, parking lot, and city.
All right.
You both arrived in full Rangers attire by car. You have $150 cash total and your individual credit cards. The predicament starts in the front row behind the Devil goaltender. Crap. So we're surrounded. Surrounded by a gang of irrational, angry, drunk, David Putty-like Devils fans in body paint. Please get home.
They're not actually going to mess with us. We'll just go home.
So
we walk to the car and drive away slowly.
So you say that,
but
so the scenario says it's a legit riot. So like cars are being flipped over in the parking lot and in the entire city. There's like the stands, they're fighting and angry.
The train will take us home. We wouldn't even drive there. We would definitely take the train.
So the crowd's angry. What if they like attack us? Like people are attacking each other. Fights everywhere.
Run.
Okay, so we run. I guess
get on the train.
I guess my now that I think about this,
riots aren't like as inescapable as you think. It's like I've been at sporting events where there are like big brawls and stuff, and it's like you're just not
right.
if you're
Scott,
don't make yourself a part of it, you're not part of this. There's many families at this game.
Well, you're right.
Children, right?
The city,
they're gonna be just fine too. You just escape.
Well, people I was in a riot in a crowd at a hockey game, and I almost got hit a couple times.
Yeah, you can get hit like by a stray bullet, like if there's a shooting that's unrelated to you. But
I got hit, like fists were coming and flying, like there was fighting everywhere.
You just get away from the hot zone.
But I think the city and the parking lot literally don't matter. I came up with a really good idea. So one, let's assume these drunk.
I don't think
fucks,
you need a really good idea. I don't think it's a bad situation. You just leave.
So these quote irrational. Surrounded by an irrational, angry, drunk, David Putty-like Devils fans in body paint. So there are legit angry dudes who are trying to punch us. So I guess we punch him back and run. But all I would do is I would run and try to get into like the hallways. And then, all those hallways like at any arena that you're not supposed to go into, that there's usually like a person.
Oh yeah, if it's you could definitely be using emergency exits to get out.
I wouldn't try to get out. I would try to get into all the hallways that like staff use. Because those are not usually like blocked or locked. Like you can usually get into them, but there's arena staff who won't let you in. If the arena staff are there and are in such control that they still won't let me in, I am safest by being right next to them. Until the riot dies down.
There's also plenty of security at these things.
If the security's overwhelmed and they can't stop me from getting into those back hallways,
this is really ridiculous.
No, I just run into the back hallways and then I just wait.
There could not be such a riot. Could not, and it just couldn't be.
I think it could.
This is even more ridiculous than the hallucinating scenario.
A lot of people got like surrounded and attacked during like riots in LA, and they couldn't get away. Like, what do?
That was a different kind of riot.
This riot's like that. It's like legit off the hook.
It couldn't be.
What it sounds like it is. Triple overtime in New Jersey.
A hockey arena is half full of businessmen and children.
What if they're all crazy? They're all hopped up on goofballs.
It's not a soccer stadium.
All right, what if, same scenario, but it was soccer?
I don't go there because that kind of thing can happen there.
If I went to a soccer game like that, if hockey fans were like soccer hooligans, I would not wear a Rangers jersey at that game. I would actually wear a New Jersey jersey to blend in.
I would not go to a place that was the soccer stadium where that sort of thing could happen.
All right, let's see. You're at a dinner and board game party. This is from The Terrible Secret of Space, hosted by a couple with whom you are friends, and they begin to argue during the board game. The argument grows in intensity, becoming louder and meaner.
Awkward.
Yep, with both of them escalating to the point of trying to provoke other people into joining the argument on their side. So far, just to stop the person who submitted this, that happens on a regular basis in our own friend group every time, like all the time. Like
you're allowed to argue. What's the
yeah,
problem?
we literally try to provoke each other into joining sides in these arguments.
What's the problem?
How do you extricate yourself from the situation with as little
just argue.
social fallout as possible? No, I just argue.
You just argue. What's the problem?
Do you take the opportunity to win the game while the other players are distracted and unfolding? Of course.
I complain. Come on, let's take your turn. You don't need to stop arguing, but take your goddamn
if
turn.
they keep taking their turns, I will.
Jesus Christ, take your goddamn turn.
If they keep taking their turns, then the argument's not that bad, and I'm going to use their distraction to win the game. Duh.
Right.
If their argument stops the game, I argue with them.
Yeah.
I don't even try to get out. This is literally my regular gaming experience.
What's wrong with that? I don't see
That's
that.
totally chill.
How is this even a predicament? This is just every day.
How would you solve the Brewster's Millions problem?
What's the Brewster's Millions problem?
You don't know the Brewster's Millions
I've heard
problem?
of Brewster's Millions. Isn't it like a TV show or something?
Okay, so the idea is you're given a ridiculous amount of money in a bank account cash that you can use for anything.
Beach time.
I'm not going to read this whole thing, but I can summarize it pretty succinctly.
Okay.
You must, within 30 days from the moment you got this crazy amount of money, like let's say $300 million, if you spend all of it, and by the end of 30 days have nothing left but things you own before you got the $300 million, you get $3 billion.
Wait. I have to spend all the $300
and you
million.
Can't give it to charity. You can't gamble it because you can't make stupid gambling.
I can't just invest it.
Because then you're making more money. You have to get reasonable and appropriate value for the spending of the money and have none left and nothing left by the end of 30 days.
How much is it?
30 million, let's say.
$30 million?
Or 300 million.
300 million?
Giant amount of money.
So I have to spend it all.
You can't just give it. You have to get some reasonable value for your spending. Like, you can throw a giant party. That's totally cool. You can't just burn it. You can't just, like, buy Fabergé eggs and eat them.
Couldn't I just buy, like, a sports team?
I guess that's making money. You'd have to make that sports team suck. Like, the sports team is an asset. You'd have to destroy the value of the asset within 30 days.
Oh, I have to, but then I would get $3 billion, and then I could just buy, like, multiple sports teams.
Yeah, right? the goal is you spend it all, and then you are one of the wealthiest people in the world forever.
I'd buy a boat and sink it.
There's a specific rule in the Brewster's Millions thing. You cannot buy luxury goods just to destroy them. Specifically, because that's too easy to loophole.
This is a really stupid question. It's like, oh, tell me, how do you solve this problem? And then we're going to make a special exception for every possible answer.
No.
Like, what's 1 + 1? But you can't say 2.
No.
2 is not an allowable answer. Give me another answer besides what.
I actually
2.
have a really trivial way to do this.
Get it all in cash and burn it?
I would just found a bunch of game companies to make the kinds of games that I want with ridiculous budgets and give the games away for free.
But you still own these game companies.
The game companies are worth bupkis because they don't have any revenue stream.
I got it. I would hire an employee to work for me.
And pay them to be your personal servant?
And I would pay them $300 million for like 1 hour of being my personal servant. And
say, even if they need value, right? Say you have to get reasonable value. Hire a giant team of butlers to cater your personal living experience to a ridiculous, ultra stupid degree.
I would hire an army of people for whatever amount of time, minimum wage, to march somewhere.
You do the Lewis Black ball washer.
Yeah, something, whatever.
That's what I do. Lewis Black ball
Just
washer
hire
and game
people.
studios.
Sure.
I'd have the Lewis Black ball washer equivalent of a bunch of game studios.
I'd hire people to do whatever for an amount of time, and then all the money's gone, and then all the people are fired at the end.
I'd also hire people. Remember that movie, The Game?
I'd hire some of them to clean my apartment, too.
I'd do that. I would hire people to run the game for me from that movie, The Game. All right.
Whatever.
These are actually killing time. I don't think we'll get through all of them.
It's also a really stupid question, though.
I think it's fine.
Whoever keeps down.
Invisible people have invaded the city, and they explode on contact with non-invisible people, and they want to do this. You and only you can see them, and they only respond with laughter. What will you do? So I can see them, and if they touch a person, they explode.
Including me?
Yeah. I get the fuck out of the city because that's dangerous and there's no way to solve that, and I wait for it to die down.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's all I would do. There's nothing I can do.
There's going to be explosions all over the place.
Yeah.
Right? They're going to be grabbing everyone, exploding everyone. Just because I can see them coming it just means I'll have a better chance of running away improperly.
That's like those Golden Compass monsters. You're just fucked.
Everyone else is just fucked, but at least I can get away. I mean, I used the internet while I was running on my phone to warn people of what the danger was.
Me and I'd warn my friends and we'd get the fuck out of Dodge.
I'm sure as I was running, I could do various things to help other people, like throw sacks of flour around or stuff like that.
Oh, yeah. That's because flour's a good idea.
But, in general, just run until I'm away from this craziness.
Because you can't win. I would save myself, and
if I get far enough away that the density of these invisible people is lowered, I could just get guns.
Because those invaded the city.
And I have no problem. If there were invisible people who explode and kill you when they touch you, I have no problem shooting them. So, as soon as I get far enough away from the city to gunland, I would get some gun and slowly make my way back, sort of like a zombie situation.
Plus, it says invaded the city. So they invade New York. I let the invisible people have New York. I go live in some other city. That's the best I'm going to do.
I'm sure the government would come and clean them out after, and then I could come back.
Yep, and if they invade the rest of the country, what was I going to do about it?
Go to somewhere across water, because there's still people. They
they only respond with laughter, so I can't, make myself their leader or anything.
It's a really stupid question again, anyway.
I think it was fine, but plus, you got really into it. All right, let's see.
Whatever.
Prad says...
Just doing my job.
You're on a remote rural farm for 2 weeks, and your purpose officially to learn about animal husbandry. So like a co-op, looks like an RIT co-op style thing.
Okay.
But the couple you're living with forces you to do household chores, dishes, preparing meals, laundry, vehicles weeding, paddocks by hand in crazy temperatures. They don't let you use the car. They basically make you a slave.
Okay. Do I still get to leave after the 2 weeks though, right?
I guess.
I mean, I'm the kind of person where so what do I do if I say no?
There's a whole bunch more. The nearest neighboring family is 300 kilometers away, and the nearest town is 800 kilometers away.
They say, do the dishes. I say, no, go fuck yourself.
The town has specific days so it's like Nazi dystopia. Everyone in power and all the cops and everyone are wealthy and white. You are not white. You ask for, basically, you're not going to graduate college if they don't. I don't care what the consequences are. I would get the fuck out of Dodge.
Who gives a shit about graduating college?
Yeah.
How did I even end up here?
Don't have a mobile phone. If you piss the farmers off, they discredit your 2 weeks, meaning you have to do it again somewhere else. I'd do it somewhere else. If society exists such that I could not get out of this situation, I would turn to organized mob violence to end the situation.
I just want to point out, right, look how many, not only on the Millions one, but on this one and all the other ones, right, how many exceptions people have to make a situation truly a predicament. That shows you just how safe modern real society is.
Look at almost every movie.
That it's so difficult.
Every predicament movie has to make cell phones not work.
They're cell phones are the biggest, most powerful tool that everyone's carrying, right? Like the ultimate weaponry. But there's even without cell phones, it's there are just so many ways to get out of a bad situation. It's it's really hard for bad things of any large magnitude to happen, right? It's not really reasons to worry about much because people have to come up with such ridiculous nonsense scenarios for there to be any sense of danger whatsoever.
I'm looking for one that's really short because we've done basically a whole show.
That's why Godzilla is a thing, right? You need some ridiculous thing like giant radioactive monster stomps and breathes fire on everything. That's the level of danger you need.
Here's a short one from Ren from New Zealand. Really simple and there's no exceptions at all. Mm-hmm. Home invasion at night. You're in your bed. So you're in your bedroom. Mm-hmm. The door busts open at night. Someone comes in and they have a melee weapon.
To the bedroom?
Yeah.
All right.
Bedroom. They have a knife or a bat. You can't quite tell because it's dark.
Are they going to hurt me or they just want to rob me?
It's home invasion, so you don't know what their intentions are, but they're yelling. Because it's really simple here.
What are they yelling?
We don't know. You don't know.
Okay.
So let's just assume they're yelling and it's unintelligible.
Whoa, bro, chill out, bro.
Yep.
Whoa, what's the problem?
I think honestly,
you gonna rob me? Go ahead, go rob me. Just don't stab me. What's the problem?
I feel honestly in that situation, if I'm in my bedroom and someone busts in yelling and has what looks like a weapon, I do the yell bro thing, but I also probably immediately attack them with the sheets. I just throw the sheets at their face.
I mean, I'd probably be, defending with the pillow, hoping they can, the knife gets caught in the pillow. All right, I'd be doing other things, but,
I immediately attack.
But the primary thing I'm trying to do is just, talk to them, why are you robbing me? If someone, if I'm walking down the street and someone comes up to me and is like, give me your phone, I'd be like, really?
Really? You want $100 instead?
I'd be like, it's got Find My iPhone. Are you sure you want it?
I'll give you my cash instead.
I mean, if you're going to stab me, I'll just give you the fucking phone. It's not a big deal. Here you go. But, I'm going to call the cops as soon as you run away. You sure you don't want to give me the phone back?
So I guess I would. Regardless of any words that were said, I would not stop attacking them until I had full control of the situation, no matter what words they said. Even if they said, I'm just going to rob you, probably still attack them.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely opportunities.
Because you don't know. They might be lying, so you got to assume they're lying.
There's definitely opportunities to see where things go. But, I mean, my primary technique is to just, talk to them and be like, really? You're robbing me? I mean, you're going to take my credit card. I'm just going to cancel that shit. Come on. Are you serious?
Yep. Of course, there's a big difference. Like,
you're gonna
mugging,
stab me? Oh, yeah, because now it's a murder. The cops don't give a shit about a mugging, but if it's suddenly a murder, you're gonna have every cop in town over here.
So
right?
to
You
be
don't
fair,
wanna
though,
stab me, man.
a mugging is much more opportunistic, but home invasion, like, that already implies like a lot of premeditation and a somewhat unhinged
It's
individual.
still not as nearly as bad as the consequences of murder.
But if I was gonna rob a house, I would rob a house that didn't have anyone in it. Like, I wait for them to go on vacation,
right.
Home Alone style.
My apartment got burgled when I wasn't there,
Yeah.
and the cops didn't even bother. But if they had
Dude, I'd follow you
if
on
they had-
Facebook. I know when you're on vacation, and then I rob your house.
Right, if they had murdered me or assaulted me in some way, the cops would have definitely put in much more effort into finding their asses, and it wouldn't have been that hard. It's because all they did was
But that's it. Home invasion with a weapon implies dangerous and crazy, because Home Alone is the style to go, except if there's a Home Alone kid in the house, just rob all the other neighbors' houses.
Also, I can call 911 silently in my phone.
I would fight them
first while they're burgling,
because I couldn't dial 911 on my phone while I was fighting them.
It has an emergency button on the front,
Yeah, that takes a few clicks though. I got to swipe up and then hit it.
It's right next to my bed.
See, how quickly could I dial 911? Let's see. Swipe, emergency call, 911. Okay, I got to do like 4 clicks here.
But you can do it as soon as, you get a chance as soon as you can, right?
Yeah.
And you don't even need to say anything. You can just sort of leave it on speaker and with the volume all the way down so you don't hear the 911, but they hear you.
Yup.
And they would get the idea of what's going on.
All right. I think it was I killed enough time. That's the show.
Okay, good. I can go home.
All right. I'm really hungry, so I'm just going to stop right there. Oh, I guess we do the Patreon thing, and then I'm going to go eat some food. All right. Patreon. Bop. Yep, that's still going. And the current patrons for this episode of Geek Nights are Nicholas Brandow, Alan Joyce, Heidi McNichol, Amanda Duchette, and Thomas Hahn. MyStady.com, William Eisenrose, Jeremy Miner, Life and Death and Love and Birth and Peace and War on the Planet Earth, a genuine bona fide electrified 6-car monorail, Captain Shingu Akasi, Rebecca Dunn, The Terrible Secret of Space, 421 Creations, a blue base over there, and the only reason they have a blue base, Shervin Von Horrell, Rara Laval, James David White, Rochelle Montanona, Superboy, I Paid $5 to Make Room Say, Pickle, Sailor Vista, Matthew Smith, Don Schleich, Jar Tavish, and Joe Joestar, Sean Yeager, Sam Cordery, Clinton Walton, Ren from New Zealand, Ryan Perrin, We're Whalers on the Moon, We Carry a Harpoon, Brian Cedrone, Finn, Chris Midkiff, Chris Knox, Daniel Redmond, Sean Klein, Chris Reimer, and Thomas Hahn. And now I leave you with the song that my African gray Dusty, when I was a kid, would whistle incessantly. And we're done.